Rodgers. And now, here he is, Mr. Friday Night, the show pony himself, the man, the dream, the legendary David Rodgers.
Good Tuesday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Rodgers, creator and host of On the Spot with David Rodgers. Here's my other host. He is the Byron Bagwell, missing last week, but back in action with us this week. Do you feel a little bit better, brother?
Yeah, oh man.
Yeah, you told me what you had, and I was like, oh, yeah, no, he doesn't even want to come to the show. There's no way. Plus, you was looking out for us, too, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, nobody wanted that stomach bug.
Absolutely not. And, of course, to my right over here, with his beautiful long hair and his nice green shirt tonight, he is our senior director and producer of the show. Does all these beautiful graphics for you. He is the dancing destroyer himself. He is Super Dave Holland. Say hello, David.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. That's exactly right. Somebody asked me if you've mastered the other half of the Cupid Shuffle yet, but I told him you needed 6 months.
I did, but that half got operated on.
Okay, so all right, so you'll be able to do it at some other point then? Is that what you're telling me?
I hope so.
You hope so. Okay, well, we hope so too. Anyway, welcome into the show on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. It is July the 1st, getting ready to approach July 4th, Byron, in about 3 days or so. Independence Day, as we like to call it. I see you're wearing your beautiful shirt there. All gave some gave all. And that's exactly right. I was going to wear mine today, but I was like, just pull out the old Foreigner shirt, farewell tour that me and Shelly went and seen, and it's comfortable.
Yeah, hey.
And it was comfortable for you, and Dave's green shirt is comfortable for him. So here we are again. Just glad to be here. Glad that God gave us one more day to enjoy life. Isn't that something?
Because there's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
No, there's not.
And and I will get to the prayer and the pledge here in a minute, but I like to open up the show just with a little bit of just some things that we all discuss or that we all come about. So last Thursday we had our plant meeting over at New Millennium, and that's where we're at, New Millennium in Lake City, Florida. David and Byron, I'm going to be honest with you.
Go ahead.
I didn't realize I was been there for 10 years. I got a 10-year plaque for being there 10 years. I'm one of the senior people out there. There's people that's been out there 20, 15, 20. But now, I've been out there since June of 2015. And I didn't even realize it. And my boss, Lorenzo Jones, who comes onto this show, by the way, if you're on, hello, Lorenzo.
What's up, Lorenzo?
And he's like, man, you got a plaque coming to you. A plaque? What the heck are you talking about, a plaque? He said, you've been here 10 years, dude.
Oh.
I didn't even realize it. It went on a whim. So I work with a group of guys. When I started there, I worked with a group of guys. We call it our accessories department. We do the odds and end things, or they do the odds and end things to help get those joists and girders built. So they cut the cords, things like that help the lines build the joist. So that's where I first started off at, and then the job that I was doing, purchasing, supply, and receiving, just progressed up, and now I don't do a lot of those things, more office now, because there's some other things that I'm involved. What is that? A jack of all trades, master of none of them?
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what I am. But anyway, so he said, can you come in a little bit early? I think I messaged you and told you that I came in. Anyway, they start to work at 10 minutes till 5 because we have our safety meeting. And each line and the departments have their own little safety call or talk, toolbox, however you want to call it. So anyway, I did come in a little early, and he presented it to the accessories department that I was, I'm still a part of, but, used to be more a part of. And I was looking around the room, and I noticed how the personnel has changed. I'm like, some of these guys that I started with are either retired or they've moved on or whatever. So there's still the older guys there, but I've seen the newer faces. So Lorenzo, of course, knowing that I do this show and do football with Byron and, you know, do the show with you. He said, how about a speech? I wasn't prepared to do a speech. You know, I was like, okay. And the thing that I thought about, and you sort of hit it on the head a little bit, I talked about time. How time is so valuable. Time is so precious. We started the show, right? We're not going to never get that back live. That's done. That time is gone.
Sure.
That time is done. You're not going to ever get time back. So I was talking to the younger guys and the older guys. I'm like, look, man, I'm 63 years old. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even realize where 10 years went. It went by in a blur. I couldn't even tell you, Byron, what I did the first day I started. It just went that quick. And they all come to me and said, thank you for that speech. But I talked a little bit about time, spending time with your family, spending time with your friends. You know, if you want to sit and rest or whatever, sit and rest. If you want to be with your friends or you want to go out and do something, go do it. Because what did you say? We're not guaranteed anything. We're not guaranteed to get out of this show.
No.
And, you know, by the grace of God, we are here. And so I went on with that speech, and each and every one enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, Pat Davis, one of my good friends out there, he works the cranes in the warehouse. He brings all the steel and everything. He said, David, you know, we were talking about something. He said, just what you, we was talking about retirement. I said, you know, I want to work till I'm 67. So 3.5 years from now. And you know what he told me? Sort of resonated with me a little bit. He goes, heck with that. He said something else. But he said, the heck with that. He said, are you guaranteed tomorrow? He said, as you spoke about that time thing, are you guaranteed tomorrow? I was like, no, I'm not. He said, man, you ought to go and enjoy life with your wife and your family and your friends and your extended family, whatever. And, you know, that resonated with me. But, you know, I had already my mindset that I wanted to wait till I was 67, build my 401k up a little more, you know what I mean? And then at the age of 67, in which y'all all know, Byron, you look at it, Dave, you look at it, people that's watching, look at it. You know, once I reach 67, it's not really called this, but you're sort of fully vested with your Social Security. So I can draw my max Social Security, and then I can go work another full-time job, and they don't care how much I make after that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's why I wanted to sort of wait.
Well, they got a number, like 53,000.
No, sir. No, sir.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh.
I can make as much as I want, because I was talking to Randy Madden today, and he's fixing to retire this coming up year. He said, David, if I wanted to, I can draw my Social Security, and I could come back and work in this plant if they'd hire me for the same amount of money I'm making. So it's changed a little bit. It's changed a little bit. So that's why I wanted to wait a little bit and a little while.
And honestly, it should.
It should.
Because guess what? That's not the government's money. That's not anybody else's money. That's the money that you put into Social Security that you're getting a return on.
That's exactly right.
That's not an entitlement. That's the money that you put in.
Yeah. So and that's going to lead on to something. I'm glad your mom brought it up. By the way, welcome, Shirley. How you doing today?
Mom.
Time and health are the most important things, and she's hit it right on the head. So I'll lead into another segue. And then, Byron, I'm not sure what you're going to talk about tonight, but I'm sure it's going to be good. We didn't really talk about it, but I'm sure it's going to be good, and we'll both chime in, and everybody will chime in.
I'm going to do something a little bit different tonight.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
done something.
Oh, are you going to do what I think you're going to do?
Yeah, probably so, because I do this every 4th of July.
Yes. Good. I haven't heard. Did we do it last?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. I'm trying to remember what was up. Anyway,
it is extremely important to me to do this every year, and I'll include you guys in a little bit later. Those of you who know me know that I do this at some point every 4th of July. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to try to make it through it without tearing up, which probably won't.
Well, I'm probably going to tear up over here, too. So, and I know, Dave, if you love your country and you love what this country stands for, what he's going to get into, and I'm not going to give it away because people that's watched this show for the last 8 years know what he's going to do. and it's something really that I want to read in full, but myself at home while I'm listening to my vinyl records, which I will talk about later. I'll talk about that later. My newest little hobby. But anyway, so I had a couple of people message me, and they asked me this. And you guys have it because you already know what we do and what we have done. And somebody said, hey man, are you just quit doing things in the community? Good friend of mine, a good friend of ours, I won't say who or she is out here. And I was like, why do you ask that? I put back in a message. She goes, because I don't see you hardly posting anything. She goes, I don't hear your name in the community as I used to. I know that you were involved in a lot of things. And I told that particular person, yes, I was. And that doesn't mean that I still ain't. It's just that I chose, my choosing, to back off several things that I do for many reasons. But the first reason is my health. Mm-hmm. Y'all all used to know, Byron, you've helped me out on projects. Dave, you've helped me out on projects. Several people here, Mitchell Gunners,
I got the same story.
Yes, you do, and that's exactly right. And the story is that, man, you know, sometimes you just get tired, dude. It's just tiring. It's time consuming. It's always on the go. And 63 years old, and I've told everybody my age. I'm not afraid to tell anybody my age. I just felt like I needed to back off some things. Yeah. Like I said, for my own sanity and for my own health. And, you know, so if he or she is on here listening, I will message you back. But if you're hearing this, that is the reason. It's if somebody come and asked me that they needed help with something, or if they wanted us to do something, we would talk about it and we would probably do it. I'm just not going, and I know this sounds a little selfish, but not really, because it's me and it's my family and it's you guys, because I love everybody, and especially my family. I want to be around for them. I'm not just going to go out and look for things to do. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go and say, I'm going to do a bike fest within the next. I'm just not going to go and do those things, and look for them.
And you know, Dave, it doesn't mean that we don't care. We care, and we'll sit at home and we'll wonder if we should do this or that. Mm-hmm. But we know that it would be very tactful to us.
Yeah, so in other words, if me, you, and Byron, let's say after this show or sometime during this week, said, hey, we should do this, or this, or maybe a good idea to do, we'd probably entertain to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because we've all collaborated. We're all going to have equal parts and pieces of the pie that we're doing. And that's okay. But I'm just not going to go out there. And again, look, and Michael, you watch this show. I know you do. And there's nothing, I'm not knocking you on anything because you're still a younger man than me. Michael Heater really has taken a lot of the community projects that are being done around here. And I'm glad somebody is doing that. You know, the Splash Bash that's coming up, and we'll talk about that when we get into some local stuff. But Michael has more taken the reins of that now, along with some others, in doing these community events and different things and, you know, things like that. So now if you want me to do a wedding, possibly, I've even backed off of that. She asked me, you know, I don't see you doing weddings anymore. I don't see you doing trivia anymore. I don't see you, you know, out here doing this or that. Well, and that's because I choose that because, like I said, multiple facets of reasons, and one of them is my health, and the second thing is, you know, some of these things become a burnout syndrome, and it really does.
And you know, it helps people to understand that we got equipment, we got lights, tables, chairs, You know, we got all this that we have to carry and set up.
Correct.
That gets exhausting.
Yes, it does. I know it does. Me
The
and you
older
talked
we
about
get.
that. The older we get, and that's exactly right. If all of us were 32, 33, this wouldn't even be coming up.
The problem with being selfless, and please don't take this wrong, because being selfless is somewhat of a virtue, and I say somewhat because there can be arguments on either side of that.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with being selfless is when you're selfless for so long and you do so much, what happens is everybody expects it. They expect to see it from you. They expect it from you all the time, and there has to be self in life because you have to have a family. You have to have a personal life. You have to do the things that's necessary in your personal life to function and be proud of what you have for yourself. There just has to be a line between the two, and the older you get, the less time you have, the more you value what you have yourself. Some of that selflessness disappears. People think it's selfish. Well, guess what? Selfishness can be a virtue too, because you have to have some sort of family life. You're not being selfish in that, because you're being selfless with your family. And we sit back, we look at people that do things in the community and go, why did they stop? Well, they stop. They stop because they have to have things for themselves too. And it's not that they're wanting to abandon stuff like that.
No.
They just have to have. They have to have a life themselves, or it stops having meaning for them to give themselves to the community.
So we go, right? Like I did. So I'll just give you a brief synopsis. Dave, I've known you. I haven't known Byron as long. I knew who Byron was, but I haven't known him as long as I've known
goodness.
you. I've known you since what? 1992, 93?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I did move away for a little while to Fayetteville and to Columbus, Georgia for a little while, but then I came back. So I've been in the place that I'm at since 2000. So 24 years right there. And then I've got, history with Bradford County since 1986 because Shelly's mom and dad lived here, and I was in the service out at NAS, so we used to come out here all the time. So I've got history with Bradford County. Well, when my children started going, Kristen and Autumn, started going to Bradford High School, me and Shelly were younger at the time, of course, and then we would get involved. We were band booster parents, and we were cheerleading parents, and we did things with the school. Y'all know this, and everybody knows this. I'm not saying anything new. So it carried and it progressed, and we got involved in other things in the community with the art, with the fair, with the Strawberry Festival, the different things that go on in this community we were involved in, and then it progressed to other things that became on a personal basis when Shelly got a little ill, and now, she's not able to function like she used to. God bless her. She's, she does what she needs to do. She goes to work each and every day. She stays at, comes home and does the things that she needs to do. But, we're not as active like that. And Byron hit it and nailed it right on the head of what I wanted to say. When they see your face out there all the time, and then all of a sudden it goes, whoa, horse. Like Byron said, it's like, what happened? The word, I think, did you use expecting?
They expect it from you.
Yeah.
And the thing is a person that gives that much, people should have the understanding to give them something back.
Yeah.
And it's not that they expect payment, but
no.
If they choose to back off of that stuff and start developing more of their personal life, then you should, because they've done that, you should understand that. I'm not saying,
right,
don't ask them at all, or if something comes up and you need help, not to say something to them, but give them the respect because of the people that they are for doing what they've done for the public to let them do what they want to do in their private life.
Right. I think because David, and I think you were going to say this, and you did maybe say it in a way, because they don't see me out there. You know what I mean? Here. They must think I'm not doing anything. Well, let me give you a prime example. I just heard somebody tell me in Walmart the other day when I went with Autumn, said, can't wait for those Bradford Tornado football broadcasts.
Oh, God, I can't
You
believe
and
it,
Byron,
man.
I can't believe it's coming around the corner,
Yeah.
but it is.
Yeah.
But they're like, man, can't wait. Seeing Mr. Nugent at the flea market the other
man.
day, and he said the same thing. He's like, so I still do that. We still do that. We still do the show here on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I'm still a member of the Art of Bradford County.
Yeah.
So I still do that. I still go to those meetings. When Lisa Sims from bridal shop in town, when she calls me for a wedding, I go do it. You know what I'm saying? So there's things I'm still involved in. It's just not, as Byron said, it's just not as eye-focal anymore.
Right.
You know, I'm still doing things. We're still doing things. It's just not, you're going to see me at each and every little event because, again, I chose to back off of that for the reasons I stated, my health, and I need time for myself. I mean, there was times where I was on the go. I couldn't even get stuff done around my house. My house looked like the Amazon forest.
Well,
Because I couldn't get it mowed, you know. So now I've got time to do those things. Got time to help Byron. Got time to help Miss Shirley, which, I mean, I haven't been into that like I usually am because whether I'm tired, whether I'm not feeling good, whether it's something, you know, I think time, Byron, you know, as I spoke before, gets to you after a while. You know what I'm saying? And age, and we don't move as good as we used to anymore.
And not to mention that we have been doing this show on Tuesday nights, almost every Tuesday night.
Yeah.
September will be our beginning of our 9th year.
9 years.
9 years. That is, again, here we go with time.
Yeah.
I can remember how this is all started, but I want to go ask Byron and you this. I remember me and Ashley Waltermeyer starting this when I used to vacation in Panama City, and we did a little podcast thing, and it was really good. The problem is she lived in Ohio, I lived here. It was sort of hard, and she was getting ready to do some things, and I think she's married now. I haven't seen them in a while, and I haven't talked to her in a while. But, you know, I think she's married now, and it just didn't work out. So me and Drew Davis tried to do something with it, and then you came on board, and Drew couldn't do it as left, if you want to call it that. That's just he left. So it was sitting in our ball court, really. And I've got to credit Barbie Crawford. Barbie Crawford, she said, man, you need to do it because honestly, I think me and you, Tom, wasn't going to do it, really. You remember, I was less like, if I want to do something, I'll just do something on Facebook Live or something. And Barbie Crawford said, y'all had a good thing going. You need to take it and keep it going. That's when me and you talked, and we was like, I think we've got something, let's do it. And we did it by ourselves for a while, and then we found two good guys that I would never trade off what we did for anything.
And they stuck with us and still
are with us. Look, I talked to Mitchell right before I came here. Look what Mitchell Gunner is doing with On the Spot Motorsports Media. He just ran over 21,700 viewers. Him and Robert are getting ready at the end of August to go to Indianapolis again for that big car show.
Yeah.
They're doing things. It's working. We were part of helping create that.
Yeah.
We all put our heads together and said, man, you would do fantastic with this. I think he was a little doubtful at first, Byron. He was a little doubtful at first.
There was no doubting what was. I didn't doubt what was.
Well, no, I think from him. I think there was a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of doubt. I'm not sure. Yeah. And then as he got into it, he worked it. Got him a partner now. Had a couple of people here and there.
Yeah.
I got on the show a couple of times. And now it's working. Yeah. And with Byron, same thing. we noticed, man, golly, man, he is just phenomenal with history and government and politics. And, man, we needed a diversity with the show. What I noticed about Mitchell, the reason Mitchell attracted us so much is because he knew what was happening here locally. Like the back of his hand.
Yeah.
And every time he'd come on the show, man, he would pop it. And I'm like, Dave, he knows a lot more than what we know. Maybe this is something that we need to look at and try to do. And we did. And we did the same thing with Byron. Byron was the same way.
I have a question for you, David.
Okay.
Has anybody seen Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Oh, see, that's where it all started. That's where it all started. So I wanna ask you guys. In saying that, that's funny. That's where it all started. Yeah, I still haven't seen her, by the way. But anybody that's sitting here,
I don't think anybody did from the time she
disappeared. Yeah, no, yeah, that was so funny. But can you remember? And by the way, let me give kudos where kudos are due to all three of you. First and foremost, phenomenal work with the VMix. You coming up with that, your sharpness, your intuition, the way you do things. Are we perfect? No, we're not perfect.
No.
But let me tell you something. You've really made this show sparkle. It looks like, and I hate to say this.
Don't you say so.
But you know, the lower thirds, just like they do.
Like
Fox does it too.
Fox looks like a national news outlet.
It does. It does. And the way that you do things, and you know, there's things that we're working on that people don't know outside of us here that we're working on to try to sharpen up the show. You're going to see some things within the next 6 months to a year that you've never going to think that you'd ever see before. And I filled in Byron on some of it. We've talked about some of it. But by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if it wasn't for Mr. Dave Holland, this show wouldn't probably exist right now, to be honest with you, in a format that we're doing it in.
Well, that may be true, but I couldn't go nowhere without you guys.
Well, and then I want to give kudos to Byron before he says what he says. If it wasn't for Byron, I think that we would be doing okay, but I don't know, and it's not because I'm not as sharp. I would have to do a lot of homework, within the political realm, within the world realm, within the national realm, and those things. Could I do it? I've done it. Yes, I can. Sure. But there's a dynamic, and this is where I'm going here. There's a dynamic that me and you have, and if you don't believe it, just go back and watch those football broadcasts or listen to those football broadcasts that we do. Let me tell you something, son. It's fire. It is. I'm going out on the limb here a little bit. I know there's some great broadcasters out there in college sports and in pro sports and everything. But
you had a good list when you were looking for.
I did.
Somebody to fill that seat.
Yeah, there was. Me and Kevin did a great job.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, me and Kevin had that chemistry too. Do you know why me and Kevin had that chemistry? Because we had, from the past, with the wrestling.
Yeah.
Me and Kevin worked the wrestling world. We knew what we were doing. We would know what's going on. And me and this man now has created that as well. So Byron knows what I'm going to say on a radio broadcast. And he's already knowing what he's going to come back with when he color commentates that.
Yeah.
Same with him.
Not all the time. You catch me by surprise sometimes. It's like, where did that come from?
Where did that come from? But yeah, so there's a chemistry there, and get back to show that we have. And Mitchell had it with us. You know what I mean? Mitchell had it with us. Now Mitchell's just stepped out and is doing his own thing. But there's just a little deal. We know what's going on. Do we agree all the time? Absolutely not. We're not supposed to.
And
even in football,
that makes it more entertaining.
Well, it does, and it makes it more entertaining. But you two guys have really stepped up your game. Y'all are a very, 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 very integral part of this show. And honestly, I couldn't do it without you guys. There's no way. I mean,
Thanks, Dave.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, can you do it? Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. Is it going to have the same dynamic as we bring each and every week? No, because you're solo. You don't have somebody to kick something to. Hey, Byron, what do you think about that? Dave Holland, what do you think about that? There's that dynamic. It is not there. So
I think about when he asked me to come on the show, and I'd sit there and debated on whether I wanted to do that or not.
At the beginning?
At the beginning of it, and I thought about it, and I'm like, why not? Why not try it? It doesn't mean you have to continue.
There you go.
Go try it. And from the first time that I was on the show, all the way up through, there has been this chemistry to where we can bounce things off of each other. And
Well, you looked really relaxed at the beginning,
Yeah, well-
which is something that's not normal.
it come from the fact that I've been a musician all my life.
I know.
And
Oh, well,
I'm comfortable being in front of people.
right.
And to tell you the honest truth, this is nowhere near as bad as being in front of 200 people playing music.
Right.
I mean, it's nowhere near. And if you add the fact that I went to school for it, and actually did that with what they used to call not juries, but what was it called? Anyway, it was basically you had to go once a month in front of all your peers that were going to that music school and the professors, and play in front of them what you were preparing for your what they called juries, which is how you were graded on your music. There was 3 music professors, and then the dean of the college sitting there listening to you play. And I can tell you, sitting in front of a camera that's just sitting right there broadcasting this to you is no. I mean, you want to talk about gut wrenching? You sit in front of somebody that knows what they're doing with music and try to play something and make a mistake in front of it, and they weren't draconian with it. They were
Sure.
They gave advice, and it actually helped. But at the same time, you sit there. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So I mean, but speaking of that, founding fathers and football fields.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been so many good memories with this, and I felt so relaxed because I'm used to running my mouth and playing and doing stuff like that in front of people. It didn't seem to bother me at all that there was just a camera pointing at my face and I couldn't see
Me and you've talked about that.
see anybody behind it. I mean,
Well, and I want to go.
Same thing with David.
yeah.
Yeah.
Being in front of a crowd, like the wrestling. You were the announcer there.
Right, I was the
So
voice.
you
I
ran
ran the show.
Right.
Stage fright is one thing you
Yeah.
either get over with or you don't.
Yeah.
And if you can't get over your stage fright, you don't need to do stuff like this because it will never flow naturally. And it's not saying anything bad. It's just some people can't, talk, perform, do whatever in front of crowds.
So let me welcome in some people, and then I want to go back
Yeah.
to something that you said. And I wanted to, no, it was a great point, and I want to tell Byron. I don't know if Byron knows this. Maybe, I think he does. But it was about the football thing. So, Shirley, good evening. Dave Holland, you're on. Austin Stevens is on. Jeff Riggins, hey, brother, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. We need to get together soon. D.A. Dennis Cruz is on. Lisa Moody Tomlinson's on. Liz Tillery Holland's on, and Regina Burkhalter's on, and probably others that we haven't seen or commented yet. Welcome in On the Spot with David Rodgers. I know we went on a rant and a rave a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's really good, a really good speaking point, because I want people to know that I'm not hiding in a shell, and I know this is carried over to some other things. It's not that I don't want to do anything in the community anymore, because I'm all about the community and I want to do things.
Yeah.
It's just I'm going to pick and choose the battles or the things that I want to do and go from
Ain't
there.
nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. So I want to go with something that you said. Byron, I think you already know this. You had said there was a list of people that once Kevin. So let me give you a second.
Yeah.
So, it was just me there. So it was either me do the whole broadcast or me find somebody. And Chuck Kramer, knowing that Terry Vaughn and Rick Craig did it together, he would rather have somebody, he'd rather have two people. He's always told me that.
Really well for years and
Yeah,
years.
very good, great broadcasters, great knowledge, and two very good people. And I've seen them on Facebook earlier this weekend having lunch. So, again, thank you, Rick and Terry, for paving the way. But before you say, I want to say something. So, anyway, so Chuck said, if y'all know Chuck runs the production. Chuck is worried about the production and pretty much it. Anything to do with the broadcast is pretty much up to me and now Byron. So what we do as far as the broadcast goes, within the realm of commercial breaks, things like that, things that go along with the radio show. So anyway, so I popped in there in June, and we were talking about what we were going to do, some of the sponsors, which I'll read over and stuff. And he says, have you decided about a, co-announcer, color analyst? And I said, not really, but I said, I have a person in mind. Well, he started naming off some names. And I'm like, that name that I was thinking about wasn't on there. So he said, is it any one of those names? I said, well, they're probably another set, but it's probably not the name that I'm really thinking of. So went back for a couple of weeks and thought about it, and I was like, honestly, there was really no doubt. I said there was two people, and the two people are on the spot, are on the spot with David Rodgers, or on the spot Motorsports Media. Yeah. It was Byron and Mitchell.
Right.
And then I weighed that out, and I was like, well, we've got this going on, with him, and he's into racing, and I'm not sure. And, I knew Byron was doing things, but I didn't know he was doing a lot of things. So I was like, really, it was a no-brainer. I talked to Shelley, talked to Autumn. They said Byron would be the guy. And I was like, well, that's the guy that I picked. I said, that's who's it's going to be. And if it's not him, it's going to be offered to Mitchell. If he'd have said, no, I can't, or if there was some kind of or something, it would have been Mitchell. After that, then what I'd had to go to the list. There were some guys. We said Mike Walls, stadium announcer, which does a fantastic job, by the way. If you never heard Mike Walls announce a game over there and do the things that he does at the press box, you're missing a treat. Because I've heard people say they've heard him a mile and a half away from that stadium.
That doesn't
surprise me.
at all.
A friend of mine lives on Francis Street and
says they hear him.
Yeah.
And they mistake me and him. They was like, man, I hear you every Friday night. I was like, oh, you listen to the radio? He said, no, I hear it over there. I said, that's not
what
me.
They say, and they're just a block from 100.
I said, that's not me. I said, that's our buddy Mike Walls. But he only gets 5 of those, because unless we make the playoffs, so he only gets 5 home games. So that's the way that the list went. So there was no doubt. So we made the announcement. We all went to Shirley's Christmas party, Shirley Dottie's Christmas party. And I was like, man, I want to make the announcement now. We wasn't going to say. And I was like, Byron, did you really know I was going to make the announcement then?
Did I tell you? I did not know you were going to make the announcement that night. I think you told me before you did.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were going to do it that night.
So I think I told you. I think we all got get together, and I was like, I'm going to make the announcement tonight. We didn't tell anybody anything. So we called everybody in the garage. And I said, gave them history.
Wait a minute. You got to understand, my mother's Christmas parties. The
they're awesome.
The garage, there's tables everywhere, and it's decorated, so it's not like he just took everybody out in the garage with cars.
No.
This full.
Yes, but there was, like he said, tables, beautiful and decorated. There was, I remember, we got the table with lemonade and tea and different things. So yes, Byron. So yeah, no, this wasn't just ordinary garage where there's cars there or anything. This place is beautifully decorated. They do a wonderful job, and she does a wonderful job.
He wanted to hide this from the world, is what he wanted to do.
So I wanted to hide it from the world. Yeah, I guess I was going to throw. Yeah. So anyway, we made the announcement, and Byron's been there ever since. And I told Byron, I said, look, we're going to keep doing this until number one, Chuck is not going to do it no more. That's the first thing. If he decides he's not going to do football anymore, but I think as long as he's there, he loves Tornado football. He loves the sponsorship that we give. And by the way,
I know.
here, you can read those here in a minute after I get done of the sponsors of Tornado football. But anyway, or I can't go up those steps anymore because that's what happened to Kevin. Kevin got bad knee problems. And he couldn't go up those steps anymore, man. Ask Byron. And people that go to, there is stadiums, David, that, man, I don't know how people get up them, period. And now you expect us to carry equipment and things like that up some of these stadiums. So it got to him. But now Kevin is helping Chuck produce, which he likes that as well. He can control the show too and still be a part of Tornado football. But, if Byron, me and Byron's 10 years apart. So Byron's 10 years older. So
wait a minute.
I'm
awful good looking for 73 years old. 76,
73. 73. Yeah, 73. So that's pretty good. But anyway, and then I'm going to turn it over to Byron. Byron's going to become the play-by-play. And then he'll have to find somebody that's going to be the color analyst. Well, who that be, I don't know. That'll be up to him, whoever he has a good rapport with or who he thinks he can do it with. But, one of these days I'm not going to be able to do it. And maybe, I don't know. But anyway, it's just going to succeed down like that. That's exactly how it went. Terry gave it to me. We brought Kevin on. Now, me and Kevin gave it to Byron. And it'll just keep going on that way as long as WEAG, Eagle Country 106.3, wants to continue to do football games.
Yeah.
And so there's a chemistry. I'm getting to all that. There's a chemistry that we all have. There you go. I went on a rant. Y'all shut me up. Y'all shut me up. But
I'm still waiting for Byron to read.
Yes.
Whatever he was going to read.
Yes, and we're going to get to that. Are you telling me my rant's over?
I don't know how.
Well, you said you're waiting for.
I don't know how to stop your rant.
Just say, David, it's enough.
David,
it's
okay.
good. No, it's good stuff. Even if it's good stuff because it gets people.
I know. I mean, it's like what you said about what he's reading. It kind of got me excited.
You're talking about this or what he's going to read?
What he's going to read.
Okay, well, he's got two things to read. He's going to read this first.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if I can get Kevin Hart over here to hush.
Yeah, so, but anyway, that's where
a wrestling reference to the
absolutely,
South,
absolutely, yeah.
On the show.
Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Hart, not Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart was wrestling.
Yeah, right,
Sorry.
right, yeah.
Old age creeping in.
Yeah.
Either that or my brain's addled.
Daggum, all right, well, we're good. Judith Holland, welcome in. Judith Holland. Judith Young. Daggum, Dave, I'm in. You are already. This show is really okay. Yeah,
it's gone off the rails.
Yeah, it's off the rails.
Laugh at us.
Yes, they do.
Okay, the Tornado sponsors. Hopefully again for this year.
Yes, hopefully.
They're going to be DLP Bank, Murray Automotive Group, Jones Gallagher Funeral Home, Durance Pump and Well Drilling, Granny's Country Cooking, fried chicken, sorry, Stark Shell, Roberts Insurance, Fiera Funeral Home and Service, and Arch Tanner Memorial Chapel, Tony's Italian Restaurant, Chiropractic and Injury Clinic, Miracle Towing and Recovery, Madison Street Pharmacy, the Downtown Grill, Discount Beverages, R&B Fencing, hey Rob, hey Barbie.
Yes.
BK Law, Burnham Kelly, and Clemens Fuel Services.
What's up, Jamie? How you doing,
What's going on,
man?
Jamie?
Yeah, hopefully everything's good. Thank you, Barn, for reading that off. These guys is what make it happen, and that's why Chuck Kramer loves Tornado football, because he can get sponsors like this and that will not only will stay with him with football, but throughout the year. Yeah,
Throughout the year.
yeah,
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
We cut a whole entire part of the show out tonight. But that was good, David. What
Yeah.
we just did was good.
It is.
It's hard to actually put a
Sat here and
schedule
run
on
my mouth for 49 minutes.
a schedule on this show, because normally what happens when one of us do what David just did, it's really good because we bounce off of each other and everybody enjoys it and laughs at our crazy selves, and everybody enjoys it. So every once in a
Yeah.
while that's going to happen.
That's going to happen.
And
I didn't want it to go that long, but and you know what's so funny, Byron? I see people listening, but there's not really, unless Dave's got some or you got some, I don't see a lot of comments here.
well, there's not going to be a lot of
No, because
everybody
everybody's
sitting back and laughing.
Yeah, laughing, yes.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
So, hey,
I know we didn't do the prayer of the pledge or the patriarch call tonight, and that's okay. We can skip it for tonight because really, and Dave is right, I really want to hear what this man is going to read, and we're already at 10 minutes delayed. Again, thank you for joining us on the spot with David Rodgers. I'm David Rodgers, Mr. Byron Bagwell, Mr. Dave Holland. All you guys that are tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. You're the one that makes this show so great. Hey, we're just the what do we say? We're just the oar or the rudder steering the vessel, the ship, and that's all we are. We like to have a good time. We like to talk about serious things and different things. Oh, did we get a comment?
that's good, Lisa, and that is the honest truth.
What do we say?
She said they both love to talk.
Yes, we do, Lisa. There is no doubt about that. And I know I wasn't too much the other night, but I really wasn't feeling well, and we were like this from each other. So, but that's just the way that the table was. I mean,
You go to a Japanese steakhouse,
Yeah.
and there's a bunch of noise anyway from the cooking and the people and everything else, which is fine.
so Shirley and Lisa, I did finish that rice.
I haven't finished all of it yet.
You haven't yet. Okay. Did you finish the meats and the
No,
shrimp
no,
and stuff?
no,
You
no.
still haven't either?
When I go there, I mix it all up like it's.
Yes, I did. Yeah,
Yeah. I've got about somewhere between a quarter of it and half of it left.
Yeah, I took it yesterday, man. It's absolutely delicious. A second.
Where'd you go?
It was good last night too.
Yamato's.
Yamato's.
Oh.
Yamato's, yep.
Japanese steakhouse. You like that?
Don't think I've been there.
Oh well,
Have you ever
probably
been-
need to take you.
Have you ever been to a Japanese steakhouse?
Where they cook on the grill right in
Yes.
front of you. Yeah, that's what. It's a place just like that.
Is that in Orange Park?
Gainesville.
Gainesville. I
Gainesville.
think there's a Yamato's in Orange Park.
I think there is, too.
but I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
There's a couple of nice ones over there. We'll go. Yeah, we'll go.
Sounds good.
Shogun is another one that was.
Oh, absolutely it is.
That was good.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead, Byron. I'm sorry. Let's move on. And we're going to go ahead and finish the second half of the show with something to me and Byron that is very important. And I'm going to have to sit here and probably do this because I've seen him share a couple of these, and I have too. So has Dave. And Byron, if you're truly an American and love this country and love what people, our founding fathers and people before us have done for this country, if this don't hit you, man, you may have a stone in your heart, man.
well,
You know,
the
that's-
thing is most people that don't get emotional when they listen to things like this. They truly don't understand what the founding fathers went through and did for us. And that's there's so much shade thrown on them now about this, that, and the other. But these people created something that has never been done in this world. So I am eternally grateful
Yes.
for those men, and they were men. I'm eternally grateful for it. Now there were women that of course played into that too, Betsy Ross and Miss Washington, some of the others that played into that too. But these people, they risked everything. And a good majority of them lost everything. Some of them their lives to give us what we have now. So,
So before you start that, though, I do want to say my favorite founding father of all time that I love the most is Thomas Jefferson.
it's
Why?
Why? Had a lot to do with this. He had a lot to do with just the knowledge and the ideas and the forethinking that he did has all entwined in what Byron is about to embark on. And to me, he was just such a very smart man. And small in stature, too. What, 5'4", 5'5"? 5'6", maybe?
I'm not 100% certain about that.
But very powerful. And I think that's what I like.
Well,
What we like to call today the little man syndrome, but it wasn't. He was a small man, but just a brilliant mind and just an exuberance about him. When he spoke, people listened. E.F. Hutton, when people speak, they listen, and that's they did.
Now, he wrote the Constitution,
No.
didn't he?
No,
matter of fact, Thomas Jefferson was not even there when the Constitution was written.
No,
he was
okay,
in France.
France.
He wrote the Declaration of Independence,
That's right.
which is what I'm going to read.
Yeah, I didn't want to sort of get
That's it.
You know, you sit back and you talk about Jefferson, and Jefferson was a very unique person. He was a lawyer. He was basically a philosopher. He was just a monumental statesman, not politician, but statesman in this country before there was this country, during the American Revolution, and after the American Revolution. Not a lot of people think about the fact that Jefferson was a president of this country for 2 terms. And he was an absolute fantastic president during those terms, too. Created one of the greatest branches of the military, which was the Marines. He just did
Us Navy guys don't think so.
so much for this country, and I'm ignoring him because I knew that was coming.
You knew that was coming, didn't you?
When I said it. Well, I mean, they're all great branches. I mean, they're just crazier.
Had a bunch of Marine friends.
I mean,
Loved them.
you want to be safe, go out with a bunch of Marines. You're safe. Now, you may not be safe from getting in a fight. But
No, you're not.
But you're going to be safe. You're going to be safe. I can promise you that.
You'll get home.
You'll get home. That's right. That's
Boy, in
right.
Sigonella, one of the biggest brawls I've ever was Navy guys against Marines. We fought right there at NAF 1 out there at that dadgum. They used to let those Sicilian girls in there, man, and it was packed, and somebody was messing with somebody's girl, and guess what? Here we go, chairs being thrown. They had to call shore patrol from everywhere to come break that up.
Mine was.
I threw 2 punches.
Mine was.
That's it, Byron.
Mine was in a bar over in, I believe, Italy. And Marines and the Navy were in there, and we were drinking, and one of the locals started it out with the Marine, and the next thing you know, the Marine and the Navy stood up against the locals, and it was on.
Yeah.
Glass was being broke, tables are turning over, chairs are flying.
That was in Naples, had to been.
It had to be.
But anyway, go ahead, Byron. Sorry, man. We got on a tangent
Man, sorry.
Sorry.
He pulled that out.
Yeah, I did. I pulled that rabbit out.
I'm just going to leave all of that completely alone. Because I've known too many people, both from the Marines and the Navy. I'm not getting in the middle of that conflict. I do this every year because I want to remind myself what it actually took for these men to do what they did. And I'll explain that when I get finished at the end reading this. This is something that is probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, political documents ever written.
I think so.
And That's just not my opinion. That's professors' opinions, political professors' opinions, the right ones. Some of them think differently, but that's okay. Okay. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinion of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to those ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariable the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw such off. Government, and to provide new guards for their future and security, such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former system of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries, usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused the assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of the immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of the public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly, and for opposing with manly firmness his invasion on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time after such dissolutions to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers incapable of annihilation have returned to the people at large for their exercises, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers from invasion within and without. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for the purposes of obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migration hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriation of lands. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for the establishment of judiciary power. He has made judges dependent on his will, for the tenure of their office and the amount of payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices, and has sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He is affected to render the military independent of a superior to a civil power. He is combined with others to subject us to the jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and acknowledge of our laws, given his assent to their acts to pretend legislation, for quartering large body of armed troops among us, for protecting them by mock trials from a punishment for any murders they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with other parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond the seas to be tried for pretend offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in our neighboring provinces, establishing therein an arbitrary government and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for the introduction the same absolute rules into these colonies, for taking our charters, abolishing our most valued laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our government, for suspending our legislatures and declaring them invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun with these circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbaric ages and totally unworthy of a head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and their brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrection among us. He has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare, is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be a ruler of free people. Nor have we been wanting any attention to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstance of our immigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity and have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf on the voice of justice and consanguinity, which denounces our separation and holds them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war and friends in peace. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled appealing to the supreme judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, due in name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are and right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved of all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as a free and independent state have the full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and do all other acts and things which independent states might do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortune, and our sacred honor. There is a list of men that go along with that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them you know, some of them you never have heard of. They basically put a death warrant on themselves by signing the Declaration of Independence. If the British would have caught them, which they did with some of them, they knew they would be killed. Yeah. And in a very, very horrible manner. The eloquence of that can't be denied. I know it's long. I know that some of you didn't understand some of that. But they were basically telling their king to go fly a kite.
Yep.
And then in the next year and a half, 2 years, they basically made him go fly a kite. If you don't believe in God, you need to read about General George Washington and what happened to him, both in the French and Indian War and the Revolutionary War. The man was touched by the hand of God, and so were the rest of the founding fathers. What they did was miraculous. We won our independence from the most powerful nation in the world. And they did it because they not only wanted to have their own country, but they wanted to have liberty and they wanted to have freedom. They wanted it for their kids and their grandkids. They wanted to create a haven in this country for people to come to that they wouldn't have to be afraid of what they said. They wouldn't have to be afraid of what they did unless it was unlawful. That document that I just read, it sounds like a bunch of words now, but if you understand and you do a little bit of research into history, it's just unbelievable that anybody would have the intestinal fortitude to publish something like that to the ruler of the greatest nation in the world at the time, Great Britain, and then to have the 56 or so men sign it. There is a famous quote from the first person who signed the Declaration of Independence. You may have heard older people say something like, "Put your John Hancock right there." That's because John Hancock was the first person to sign the Declaration of Independence. And he said, I hope he can see it from here. And I cannot, well, I think I actually have said this on the
you
show.
have. Yeah.
About him saying, I wanted him to see it all the way from England so he'd know that I told him to bugger off.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's a polite way of saying exactly.
And that's
what
why
you
he signed
think
it so large. And then Byron, he said, I really want him to see this. And that's
The signature is about
That-
that,
that long.
about that
Yeah,
long.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the rest of them are like this.
Yeah.
These people believed that what they were doing was, it was divinely inspired, because they believed that they had the liberty, the right, and just the rights of nature and nature's God behind them, because they believed in freedom and liberty, and it was given to us by the man upstairs. Therefore, they didn't believe that anything would ever happen once they did that, other than the typical stuff that goes on in war. People die. Took George Washington a long time to form up the American Army. And that's an amazing story that I will not get into because it's getting later. But if you don't know the failures of General George Washington at the beginning of the Revolutionary War, there were a bunch of Americans that thought that it was over with. The war was going to end, and we were going never to become a country. And all of these lunatics that signed the Declaration of Independence and the ones that were running around Boston at the Constitutional Congress would all be put in chains, dragged back to England, and executed very violently.
Mm-hmm.
All of that turned around and at Valley Forge with
Yep.
George Washington and a German general that actually come here and helped him train our soldiers. That is a story I'll leave up to you to go look at. It's just, that is an amazing document. It's an amazing piece of work, and it makes me tear up, because without that document, without those men,
We're not here.
there is no United States of America.
No.
Well, we wouldn't even be talking.
We wouldn't. This would not be a.
Well, we might be talking, but we would still be British citizens.
Right. Yeah.
And even though the British people are free, there is no system like what we have. None. So they come together a couple of years after 58 is 1558. No, 76, 80. 1784 or 1785 is when the Constitution was actually ratified.
Right.
They had been talking about and doing things. The system of government that we had before the Constitution came around and federalism became involved was actually a term everybody's familiar with. It was a confederacy. We were the Confederate States of America at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Not the CSA, but the Confederate States of America. So, and the system is not one that works well, and they knew it. They knew what they threw together something to keep everybody happy, and then they fought tooth and nail to give us a constitutional republic. These men were incredible. I mean, just incredible. And they kept on giving and giving and giving and giving. George Washington was president 2 terms after he fought a Revolutionary War as a general. They wanted to make him a king. They loved him so much that they wanted to make him a king, and he turned that down. He said, no, we had a king before. We don't need another king, basically. I sit back and think about the fact that this group of men who were English, most of these people were English. They looked at the person that was their king and told them, go away. You are a tyrant, and we are not. We don't have to put up with this. And if you start looking at that history, there's a reason for it, and it's because they believe in natural law and God's law. You can't have natural law without God's law. So they've taken that out and away from our founders, which is a load of bunk. It's just insane. They were men of God, pretty much all of them. There may have been one or two of them that weren't. But you have to understand that our history, this is where it gets crazy. They came from Europe because they were they're religiously oppressed. So they came here because they were being religiously oppressed. And they weren't religious in what they did. And that's the saddest thing to me of all with what the way we believe about our founding fathers. You get all of this nonsense. They were very religious people. And if you don't believe it, go back and look at what happened at the beginning of each session during the Constitutional Convention, which was a prayer to the Almighty.
Like we did, yeah, exactly. I was just going to say they prayed.
Happy birthday, America. Everybody that's come before us that has made this possible, thank you so much. I am so blessed to be living in the greatest country in the world, and it's because of men like our founders and men like that has gone on through our history. The Thomas Jeffersons, the Abraham Lincolns, to a point. There's some things that Abraham Lincoln did that I don't. That's another discussion for another time. I've always had issues with some of the things Lincoln did.
Yep.
But he still kept the Union together and freed a section of people in this country that should have been free people anyway.
Yep.
That had been coming a long, long, long time.
Yep.
From guess who? Jefferson. Everybody said he was an evil slave owner. Well, guess what? He tried 3 or 4 times when there was no United States, when he was actually in the Congress in Virginia, tried to have slavery abolished. It didn't happen. But they set the framework and the ability to do that up with the Constitution, and everybody looks on him like he was this evil slave owner. Took advantage of one of his female slaves. Guess what? There's a whole lot of history out there from when he was in France. He was walking around with that slave open in public.
Yep.
She wasn't his slave. She was his wife.
Yep.
So I look at it, and all the stuff that I'm saying right now, it's just unbelievable, except for one thing. This country has been touched by God. That's the only answer to that. Because I know that people are going to say, well, the French was the second most powerful nation in the world, and they came to our aid. Yes, they did. But they didn't come to our aid until they started realizing that America could actually be free. If they realized that it was not worth it and we were just going, all of the founders were just going to get killed in the process, they never would have backed them in the war. Never.
You know, as you read that, Byron, I could sit there and listen to you to read that every week if you wanted to.
Those last
paragraphs. If you believe in what the founding fathers did for this country and the way that country has progressed from that time till now, if you don't believe in your heart, that, like I said, you must have a heart of stone, because I was wanting to tear up, and I heard you in your voice.
Well,
and it happens every time.
Well,
but that's okay, because it should.
Especially when at the very end of it, when they start talking about their sacred honor.
Honor, yes. And, the things that you just read there and what you explained, by the way, well explained, well read, by the way. the people that has gave everything in history for what you just read and what we keep giving for this document, like you said, to me, one of the best written documents ever. That's my opinion, but hey, look, I know people's going to say the Constitution, and that's a great document too.
Well, they're two of the greatest political documents
ever written.
because
Yes.
the way that it's formed
and the way it's worded too.
Well, this is a step by step, basically essay denouncing what the King George did is what it is. And there's a pattern to it. And a long time ago, I took a document that I found in the archives that this author had wrote about breaking down the Declaration of Independence, and I started doing it. There's a very disciplined tone to it. Jefferson was a brilliant man, and he knew how to word everything. He's a lawyer for one, but he knew how to get emotion out of people.
Yep.
He knew how to play on people's emotions, and what he did was send a shot across the English crown's bow, because when that started being published, the whole entire world went, "What?" And that's how France got involved with it, by the way. I can promise you, when they looked at that, they went, "I can't believe the man had that," and these people have that much courage to do something like that, because they were talking about the greatest nation in the world. But same thing.
Byron, people are going to wake up, and I guess the military and me, the military and Dave, your father. God rest his soul. Love you, Donnie. Hope you're watching from up in the heavens and touching me and Byron here a little bit. But I tomorrow is going to be it for where I work at until Tuesday. They got a long holiday weekend, and a lot of people go, "Hey man, it's just another holiday." You know what I mean? And I hate when people say that, because it's not just another holiday. To me, the most important holiday in our calendar that I know of, to me, with there's others. Christmas, okay, yes, you can't leave it. Yes, I get it.
Christmas out of that conversation, because it is the most important holiday.
Yeah,
but if you're talking about just
taking the paganism out of it,
well, if you know what I'm saying is, you just leave Christmas
out as of okay,
you start talking about the other, because of the birth of Christ.
I mean, how many people do you talk to that's going to be have a long holiday this weekend, and they go, "Hey man, do they talk about the Declaration of Independence?" Maybe some do. Some do. But a lot of people, it's just another day for them. They're going to wake up and they're going to go to the splash bash here. They're going to go to the beach and this and that. And rightfully so, you should. But think about why you're able to do those things that you're going to get ready to do on July the 4th, Friday, right? It's Friday. July the 4th, Friday, is because of our founding fathers, what Byron just read, our founding fathers. 56 signatures, is that what you said, B?
I think
is it 56,
53, or 55? I don't, give me just a second.
56 men that put their name out there in writing, knowing 56, okay, knowing that if the motherland got a hold of them, or that, like you said, they're going to be executed and in a violent way. But like you said, they put their names out there for the greater good of this country. Like you said, God has touched this country in so many ways. I believe He's still doing that. Remember, in some of my prayers, we have our own internal problems. I understand that and I get that. But even with all that, we're still free. As of today, July the 1st, 2025, we are still free. Me, you, and Dave are going to get up out of here and walk out to our vehicles and go home to our significant others and eat our whatever it is that we do because of the freedoms that these guys,
those 56
men,
more than 56.
Yeah, it is, but 56.
Those 56 men are the ones that people can say what they want to. They were more wealthy.
Yep.
They had more influence.
They did.
But they also had more to lose than just the common average citizen. So when they did that, they could have lost everything, homes, family, because there was something called a retainer of blood with the English crown, which means if you committed the crime, your family was responsible for it.
Yeah.
So they could have lost their families, their homes, their businesses, their lives. They could have lost everything. And they put that on the line because they believed that there was something better. And they wanted to make this, barring Reagan's comment about the United States, a shining city on the hill. And that's exactly what they did.
And I want to say something else to that. And Byron really hit it all around here, is that they wasn't just not only thinking of themselves, they were thinking of everybody.
Yeah.
Of whoever lived in the United States at that, I guess, whatever.
The 13 colonies.
He was thinking of, and then
the United States.
Yes,
it became the United States in that first statement, and
they
the world knew it.
So, and I know people's going to. Donald Trump thinks that Donald Trump thinks the same way. He thinks like a founding father. He would have probably been a good founding father back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Just his demeanor, the way he. How many times have me and Byron said, and I've said more probably than Byron, President Trump didn't need this job. President Trump's got enough money to have for his great-grandchildren, children beyond that. But he didn't need the wealth. He didn't need the notoriety. He had all that already. Why did he run for presidency again? He's seen that the country was in shambles, and he knew that he could fix it because he had done it once before. And he fixed things, and that's what he's trying to do now. He didn't need all that garbage and everything that he went through for the last 2 or 3 years trying to get the nominee for the Republican Party. He didn't need that. He could have just went to Mar-a-Lago and played golf every day. Invited me, you, and Byron to go play golf every day.
I would love to sit down and talk to Donald Trump.
Yeah, but he didn't need this beat. Why did he do it? Because he thinks like these guys right here. He wants to make America great again.
He wants to. That statement has always been a little bit disconcerting to me because America's always been great. It's just people need to be reminded that it is great.
Yeah.
You hear so much negativity, and it can be better. It always can be
better.
better. There's always things to do to make it better.
Sure.
I wanted to say something really quick about one other quick thing. I am hearing a whole lot of just utter bunk right now about this bill that they're trying to pass. It's going to cut a bunch of people's Medicaid, and children are going to starve. And all of this just absolute nonsense garbage. They are cutting Medicaid. You know who they're cutting out of Medicaid? They're cutting dead people out of Medicaid. They're fixing the Medicaid rolls. Is what they're doing. But the mainstream media, in some cases, are going, oh, the people are going to do this. They're going to starve. And they're going to, oh, my God, the sky's falling. That is a plan, let me tell you, straight out of Joseph Goebbels' playbook, who actually was going to be my quote of the night when he said, tell a lie enough times and it becomes the truth, which is exactly what they're doing. And if you don't know who Joseph Goebbels is, he was a Nazi. I am so sick of hearing that crap. There's no way a bill should be as long as that bill is. I disagree with that. I cannot stand it when they do that. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Keep going, man. I was just going to read a couple of local things that was going on this weekend.
It makes me insane because they don't know what they're talking about, which they really do because they're lying about it, trying to make people believe that people are going to starve to death when this bill's passed. That's just about like we're gonna throw grandma off a cliff, and old people are going to eat cat food, have to eat cat food, dog food, all this other crap that we've heard in the past. They're liars. They're lying for their own benefit.
Oh. All right. So anyway, no, that was really good. I love the reading of that document. I love the way that you do it. I love the way that you break it down. You break it down into layman's terms for people that don't understand it. Because, like you said, there's a lot of words in there that I don't even understand. And like you said, you got to do your research. You got to do. You got to understand history. And can I figure it out? Absolutely, I could if I sat here and really broke everything down. Sure, we can.
That's the thing. All of these documents are written with the thoughts and mind of people with a high school education being able to read them and understand them.
Yep.
Now, people will go, how the crap can you do that with that? Well, that's how high school used to be, by the way. But I wanted to say one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
You don't have to be into our founders and these documents and things like I am and have an understanding like I do of how much these people gave for this country. All you have to do is know that it's America's birthday and be thankful that you live here. And it would be more than enough for all of these people to understand that their ancestors live in the greatest country in the world. So.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Good job, B. Shirley, thank you. Thank you, Dave, for all you do. What a great job. Appreciate you. Regina Burkhalter's here. Hello, Regina. Y'all are a great team. Dave, David, and Byron. Thank you so much. I think you respect each other's talents. We do. They both love to talk. Yeah, Byron's already said that. Yeah, well, we do love to talk, don't we? We could, hey, if we could, I promise you.
We could for the next 2 or 3 hours.
Oh, we could go to midnight.
Let's not.
I know. Are you hungry?
My stomach will be eating itself by
Yeah, are you hungry? What are you having?
I don't, probably Yamato's.
Lisa, what are we having? Or what? Oh, hey, what are we having? What are you and Byron having? Wait a minute. I know. I got you. What are we having?
You'll get me killed, and you if you come over to Keystone after this show.
Yeah, because I don't know what I think. I don't know what I'm having either. Hey, Judith, how you doing? I'm sure there are many people who have never read the whole document. Shirley, I agree. I don't think so either. Robert McGee. Hey, did you know Robert was on?
Uh-huh.
You like Robert? I do too. I like Robert McGee. Thank you, son, for sharing your knowledge. Yes, absolutely.
You're welcome, Mom.
And Lisa, thank God for those 56 men and the ones that came after them, sacrificed their lives to keep us free. Thank you to every serviceman and woman and their families who serve and have served and sacrificed their lives every day. God bless the red, white, and blue. I agree. God bless the USA and continue to guide President Trump. That's great saying right there. She put that all in a nutshell. I love I told you. The most beautiful thing I think I've ever seen is the flag, the red, white, and blue flag, and with the stars in the blue. It's the prettiest to me. I understand there's other, but to me that's the most beautiful flag in the whole world today.
It's most just, certainly the most beautiful. Well,
I think so.
Yeah.
Do you, Dave?
It's either the one we currently have or the original Betsy
Ross. Okay, yeah. Now I like that too. It's just our flag, our United States flag through history, to me is the prettiest and most colorful flag in the whole world today. Man, the red, white, and blue. Byron's wearing it all over right here.
You know, the stars and the stripes.
Oh,
they
man.
mean something more than just putting it on a sheet and calling it a flag.
Yeah, it's meaning. Great call, Dave. Yes.
We need next week. We need to one of us needs to get a printout of what the stars and bars on.
I'll print it out. Remind me, okay?
On the American flag actually mean, because everything has a meaning.
Yes, it does. Hey, Remind me, okay? And I'll print it out before I leave work.
Yeah.
Hey, glad that y'all can tune in tonight. We've been everywhere from time to talents to the Declaration of Independence. And where are we sitting at, Dave? We're sitting at about 8:40 Eastern time here in beautiful Stark, Florida.
Yeah.
8:40 Eastern time, 7:40 Central time, 5:40.
California.
5:40, no, the Mountain Time, and 4:40, right? Am I right?
California.
So what time is it? 8:40, 3 hours back, 5:40.
It's 5:40.
West Coast time, yeah.
In
Yeah.
California, or excuse me, California.
Yeah, it's 6:40 Mountain, 7:40 Central, 8:40 Eastern, right? Am I right? That's pretty close. That's pretty good, right?
That's real good.
That's real good. And 12 hours ahead or so in Australia. I just figured I'd throw that out. But anyway, glad to have you guys on. Man, as always, dude, man, this show has been wonderful. It's been great. We've covered a lot of things. We hope you really enjoy it. It's all about for you guys. If you don't get a chance to watch us live, which is really a thrill in itself, and man,
Amen.
you never know what's coming. Byron hit it right on the head. Never know what's coming out of our mouths. And then it's going to be funny. What did Byron say? People are laughing at us at home. You know, or whoever's watching. But that's what it's all about, man. And we love to do this show. And again, we went from A to Z, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed what Byron read. I was sitting here thinking and trying to understand. And I know Byron read it, and sometimes you don't have time to think. You know what I'm saying? To really, but it's just I was sitting here trying to think and understand what you were saying. Understood some, and then there were some things, buddy. I'm telling you, I don't understand.
There's
I didn't
four
know.
parts of the Declaration of Independence, and when you break them down into the four parts and read them as four separate parts, you start understanding what Thomas Jefferson was doing.
Yep.
And the first part of it, the preamble, it just basically says that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Everybody's heard of that.
Yep.
It's the rest of it. The list of grievances that's what the King of England did, and in the denunciation of the British people is another part of it. When they're talking about their brethren who basically turned their backs on them, well, that's kind of crazy, because guess what? If they hadn't turned their backs on them, they probably would have been killed too. So, but at the same time, it was a very intelligent move on it, and then the conclusion to it, and it's just a brilliantly written document. It's in an older form of English. That's why some people have a problem with it. Some of the vocabulary in it, so we don't use some of those words anymore. So,
But fascinating writing, I mean, golly, whether we use those words or not, it was like, it's like something that would be written today, maybe in a different form or a different style. Really, I mean, if you think about it, look,
timeless.
It's timeless. Yeah,
and
it is.
Guess what? If you look at those list of grievances against King George, and you think about some of those things that the colonists had grievances against King George, and you think back to the last 4 years of this country, a little bit scary, because some of those grievances are the same ones that we had with this last administration.
So I seen somebody that was on your feed right here, B, and we were going to talk about it, Dave. Me and you sort of talked a little bit about it. We'll get into it just a little bit. Locally going on, and I'll get into a couple of things here in just a second. There is a race that is for the city clerk position in Stark. And the two candidates we all know very personally. And one of the candidates had asked me, would I entertain doing a questions and answer show. Absolutely. Because I'll tell you right now, and I'm going to go ahead and on record and say it, audience, if y'all, oh, by the way, welcome in Ellen Disher Williams and Arlene Morehouse. I think we're the best at that. I think we are three, and even with Mitchell, but us three, I think we are the best at hosting candidates, doing a question and answer period, doing things like that. So I'll extend right now on behalf of us to Chrissy Thompson and to Lisa Heater. Any chance that we can, any Tuesday that we can get you ladies together, if you want to come on the show, me and Byron will be the moderators of this question and answer period. Dave will take care of all the graphics and everything that we need, so our viewing audience can see. We'll adjust the seats and we'll have everything prepared for this.
Now,
But
hold on now, because I'm about to leverage some food out of this. That only happens if Chrissy brings dinner.
leverage some food. Oh boy, I was going to say that too. To be honest with you, I was going to say that too. Yeah. So. Hey,
I'm just kidding.
Look, okay. I'm just going to go.
Chrissy.
No, yeah. But if y'all want to come on, we'll follow up on that. So if y'all want to reach out to me, Dave, or Byron, and say that y'all would like to do that, we'll pick a Tuesday, and I'm sure our viewing audience would love to see that. Now, me personally, and Byron personally now, and Dave personally, we have no dog in the hunt. We have no dog in the fight. But I know some listeners do. Miss Shirley Bagwell does. Several people that tune in the show live within the city, so they would definitely have say. So I think they would love to hear what these candidates, have to say, and what they John and tells what they're going to do, what they see as the problem. What are you running on? And those are just questions that we would have, just basic questions we'd ask. And again, Dave, I think we're the best at that. I think we're one of the best as far as moderating these kind of events.
We could set up a nice stage and put them side by side.
Sure, we could. Yeah, absolutely.
And
remember that one we did at the sheriff's office? Yeah. Man, that had over 400 views at any one time. Yeah, I understand there was different candidates and different things at that time, but still. I think we would get the same entertainment here.
Yeah.
The key to it is to ask the right questions.
Yep.
And then letting the candidates talk about it.
Yep.
And then moderating it so it doesn't turn into chaos.
Right.
Which it's never had. It never.
No, I don't think we've ever had one do that.
But there are some debates that get hostile, and you can't let it do that because it has to be a debate.
Yeah. And I think, Byron, like you just said, I think we're the best at doing that.
Yeah,
I really do. I mean, I don't, like Byron said, I don't think one ever.
My opinion, Dave's opinion does not matter in a debate format at all. All we're there to do is ask questions and then let the candidates respond.
Yeah. And again, I have no dog in the hunt, but we do know these two beautiful ladies. And we've known Lisa for a long time. We've known Chrissy for a long time, and like I said, I would be willing to do that. I've been asked about it. So yes, the invitation right here is open at 8:45 Eastern Time, right here on the Spot with David Rodgers show. If you would like to do that, message me, Dave Holland or Byron Bagwell. We'll put it together. And we'll do it on a Tuesday. We'll set up, like you said, the area and what we need to do for that. And it's not a debate. It's a question and answer session.
Yeah, our job is to give the community a view of who's running and what their ideas are.
Well, it's the opportunity. If you can't get out to a debate, which I'm sure is going to happen, or to get out to, or they don't come to your house or whatever, you can tune in right here and ask questions.
Absolutely.
Because we have the comments rolling. One thing that we are good about is looking at the comments, and we will. If you have a question, we'll ask it.
Yeah,
we'll ask it.
Yeah,
and we'll ask it not only to one, we'll ask it to both. It's a question to both,
Well,
and that's
there's
the
a
way I want to
commitment
be.
from Chrissy. She said she'd be happy to be there.
Okay.
I'll bring a assortment of food for everybody.
Yeah, so I'm
try
not
to
getting all
interrupt
those
you,
comments
sorry.
for some reason.
Yeah, this
today.
is for you, the viewer.
Oh, absolutely.
Ask those questions
Yeah.
and, find out what these folks are thinking and where they want to
Oh
go.
my Lord! I've started something. There's going to be a cake involved with this.
Oh, yeah, is there? Well, I'll
I'm
figure.
sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Dave. Go ahead.
That's okay. It's about time to go anyway.
No, we need a cake. She says, guess you won't need a cake then. That's your mom. Oh, who, did you say that? You're not speaking for me.
They will definitely need a cake. Yeah,
So, no, we're going to need a cake. But, yeah, no, that invitation's open. Thank you, for Chrissy, for accepting. I'll reach out to Lisa, or if Michael's watching, I'm sure to watch the show. That invitation is extended, so just let us know, and we'll do that hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Want to talk a couple of other things here. Byron, I know you read a lot, but I'm going to read the weather. Austin sent me like a big-time weather thing. Do you mind talking about the Star Spangled Splash Bash and then what's going on in Union County? So if you'll just read that, I'd appreciate it.
Local 4th of July events proudly shared to you by DLP Bank. The Star Spangled Splash Bash. I can't even speak.
Yeah.
July the 4th and July 5th.
Yeah.
Free entry at the fairgrounds, water slides, kids zones, food trucks, popsicles, live music, and water play area. The parade begins at 9 a.m. Let's see. Gates open at 12 p.m. Latest in sounds of the Ground concert series, Faster Than Flash, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Gold Star recognition ceremony at 9 p.m. Directly after the Gold Star recognition ceremony, special rendition of the national anthem, fireworks sponsored by the City of Stark at 9:45. Saturday, July the 5th, the gates open at 12, closes at dusk. Bring your own chair and come and watch the parade in the cool shade underneath the overpass by downtown Stark Square while you enjoy a snow cone or a cold drink. You can email starksplashbash@gmail.com, or you can call 904-290-1010 to register your golf cart or side-by-side for the parade. Wainwright Park is another great location to enjoy the parade. The parade route will also include all of Riverwood Health Rehabilitation Center, Windsor Manor Rehabilitation Center, and the Young Hearts Extended Associated Living Facility. Grand Marshal Bobby Payne.
That's the one happening here in Stark. That is directed and being run by Michael Heater. So you'll see, I know it's just starting to come prevalent. He hadn't really put it out before in a big-time manner. I think there was several things that was involved in that. But if you have any questions, like Byron said, make sure you get a hold of Michael Heater, go to his page, message him if you have any questions. He'll be glad to answer, I'm sure.
Okay.
All right.
This is happening in Lake Butler.
All right.
Okay.
Look who's sponsored by again.
DLP Bank.
Do you know who sponsors Tornado Football?
DLP Bank sponsors Tornado Football.
Yeah.
Let Freedom Ring. Rotary Lake Butler. The Rotary of Lake Butler. 31st Annual Independence Weekend celebration, Saturday, July 5th, Lakeside Park. Vendors, food trucks, entertainment, fishing tournament, car show, splash park, kids activities, and fireworks. The Thomas Shire Memorial Bass Fishing Tournament, 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. lunchtime at daylight. First place, largest bass, $1,000. Sponsored by IGA Spires Storage. Second place, second largest bass, $500. Sponsored by Lake Butler Mini. Third place, largest trash fish or others, $250. Registration is $50 per fishing contestants. Other items will be raffled at the weigh-in, including cooler, tackle, gift certificates, and more. There's going to be a car show at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Contestants check in at 9 a.m. First, second, third prizes Top 10 most patriotic best trucks, $20 entry fee. Contact Jody at 314-680-9477. There's a fireworks display over the lakes at dusk, sunset. Family friendly community event.
Wow. A lot going on here between two counties, about 11 miles apart. So, as Byron said, Let the Freedom Ring over in Lake Butler. You can enjoy that. That's on Saturday, July the 5th. And if the Lake Butler people ain't doing nothing, they can come over to Star Spangled Splash Bash on July the 4th. Enjoy the parade and a couple of things that are going on the grounds, and, of course, the fireworks. So that's in your local paper. So if you want to check that out, more than glad to read on that. And by the way, Byron, as I was going back to try to update my comments, I usually get all the comments. I just happen to be seeing yours. The Star Spangled Splash Bash parade route is on our OTS page.
Good.
So you can go and check that out, and it tells a little bit about the event. A couple of other quick notes and items here. Bingo night for schools. Bradford County Communities for Schools next bingo night is Monday, June 30th at the Downtown Grill in Stark, Old Chrissy's place there. Doors open at 5 p.m. and games begin at 5:30. Play 10 games for $20 cash. Last game is a blackout for $100, Byron. Black out that card, son, and you get $100. Or you can trade that in for a food voucher. What would you rather have? The $100 cash or the food voucher?
$100.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Quit lying. I think you traded in for a food voucher just like I would.
I'd take the $100 and go eat at Yamato's again.
Dadgummit. All proceeds, including 20% of food and beverage sales, goes to the Communities for Schools. Chrissy does a great job with that and has been doing that for a while. The Church of God food distribution, Byron. Star Church of God by Faith and Farm shares upcoming food distribution will take place on Thursday, July the 3rd from 10 a.m. to noon. This is a drive-through distribution, Byron. The church is located at 730 Old Lottie Road in Stark. Distribution could start early depending on delivery. That's a good thing.
It's a very good thing.
Yep. Do you know the Democratic women will meet June the 26th? Did you know that?
No.
The Democratic Women's Club of the Lakes areas will meet on Thursday, June 26th at 7 p.m. with doors opening at 6:30. Sadie Holzmeyer from the Digital Democracy Project will be the speaker. All Democrats are welcome. Meetings are held on the fourth Thursday of the month at the Melrose Center, 309 State Highway 26, Melrose. For further information, call 352-235-4161.
So, Republican women aren't welcome, is what I'm gathering from that.
Well, I didn't say. It didn't say that.
Well, that implies it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure. Never mind. You ain't getting no food, Mark. Soil and Water Board meeting. Bradford Soil and Water Conservation District invites all to the next meeting Tuesday, July 1st, which was today at 4:30. Hope that went well. That was at North Temple Avenue in Stark. Discussions will include conditions at the Edwards Bottomlands. I've heard people talk about that. And potential invasive species projects. Contact Amy Morey at 323-274-8858 or email at amorey.bswcd@gmail for more information. Collection sites. If you take, David, your trash to the dump, collection site closings, all Bradford County solid waste collection sites will be closed for Independence Day on Friday, July 4th. But, Dave, they will reopen at 10 a.m. on July the 5th. So hold your trash for a day and then take it the next day. And I'm sure they're open all weekend. Market at the Melrose. The Market at Melrose Farmers and Craft Sale takes place the second Saturday of the month from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Mossman Hall in Melrose. That's 310 Byron, State Road 26. The market features local artists, homemade crafts, one-of-a-kind gifts, a farmer's market, plants, and animals. To become a vendor, reach out to Grandpa Curtis at grandpa654@gmail.com. I noticed you was looking at this. I do want to it was on the front of the paper here. Stark Railroad overpass wins for outstanding project. 2025 Outstanding Projects Awards. So they won some awards, Byron, for this particular overpass. You know, I won't get into that. You can read the article yourself.
Yeah.
No one is going to show up. Lots of laughs. It's July the 1st. Oh, they're talking about that. Yeah. Yeah. Talking about what I just read. Yeah. No, they're not.
The Democrat women. I almost stopped you, David.
I know.
You were on a roll.
I was on a big roll. Waiting list for rental assistance. Union County Housing Authority has an open waiting list for eligible low-income families, elderly individuals, and persons with disabilities who need housing assistance. Eligibility is determined based on annual income, family composition, and U.S. citizenship or immigration status. Contact UCHA at 715 West Main Street in Lake Butler, 386-496-2047, or www.uchafl.com. That's just a couple of things that are happening. Don't forget the 2 events that are going on. Stay local if you can. Hopefully you spend your money wisely within your counties or within the counties, and ought to be a great weekend, Byron. Sure. But let's see if I can run it for you. What do you mean if I can run it for you?
Gonna rain.
Oh, boy. Austin's weather report, David. You ready?
Yep.
Forecast for the local area. Tonight, mostly cloudy. A chance of showers with a slight chance of thunderstorms in the evening. Lows in the lower 70s. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 50%. Wednesday, partly sunny. Showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Highs around 70. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain, Byron, 80%. Wednesday night, mostly cloudy. Showers and thunderstorms likely in the evening. Then a chance of showers after midnight. Lows in the lower 70s. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain, 60%. Thursday, partly sunny. A chance of showers with a slight chance of thunderstorms in the morning. Then showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Highs around 90. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Chance of rain, 90%. Ooh-wee. Thursday night, mostly cloudy with showers and thunderstorms in the evening, then partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers after midnight. Lows in the lower 70s, chance of rain 90% again. All right, here's where it becomes an issue, Dave, or a deal. Independence Day, partly sunny, a chance of showers in the morning, then showers and thunderstorms likely in the afternoon. Highs in the lower 90s, chance of rain 70%. Uh-oh. If you're planning on going to the Splash Bash or being in that parade, you may want to watch out. Friday night through Sunday, partly cloudy with showers and thunderstorms likely. Lows in the lower 70s, highs around 90. 70% chance of rain for those 4 days. Forecast for Tallahassee, Florida and surrounding areas there. I won't read all that. Tony can check that out. And there's the forecast also for Pascagoula, Mobile area. We've got some viewers that I went to school with that listen in as well. Been a really good show, Byron. We went over a lot of information. I want to thank you for reading this Declaration of Independence. I loved the way you read it, and each and every time you tear up and I tear up. I think that's just the nature of the beast in us. I know Dave was over there. He was bowing his head there, but you did a wonderful job doing that. Thank you for all the other readings that you did for me tonight, and I really appreciate what you do for the show. Dave Holland?
Appreciate what you and Dave do for the show.
Well, I sure appreciate that.
I appreciate y'all brought me into this journey for the
Glad
last
you
night.
made it today.
Yeah, I was like,
man.
oh, man.
Well, I told you this morning it wasn't bad, and it didn't end up being bad.
Yeah.
You never can tell.
That exactly what the job that
I have, that
yeah.
I could get ready to walk out.
I want next Tuesday for people to explain when you're not here what your job entails and get into it a little bit. Tell everybody what you do and what you work for, because I think what you do really comes from here on a lot of stuff. I know it's a paycheck. I get it and understand, but what you do for these people, and I'm going to be honest with you without giving it away, and you can explain next Tuesday what you do. I'm sure there's some houses in there that I can't go into because I've got a soft spot for people that are going through that kind of stuff, and I get it. I know you do too.
Not easy.
I know it's not, and you've told me, yeah, and I understand.
It's not an emotionally easy job.
No, it's not. But I want to thank Dave Holland for what he does. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all don't get to see Dave's pretty face and his pretty hair all the time. Dave's back. We're going to bring Dave on the camera. We're working on some things where we can spin it to him when he's talking and stuff. But Dave Holland does a wonderful job with our broadcast. He's come up with this V-Mix, like I said, that looks like Fox News or OAN with the lower thirds and the color and the backgrounds and things like that. You knew I didn't say the other. But, I was about to, man, and it just because it rolls off.
Honestly, Newsmax is what it
looks like. Newsmax. It does look like Newsmax. It does. You're right. So anyway, Dave does a great job directing and producing a show, keeping us in line, chimes in whenever he is needed, and he can chime in at any time. Dave, what a great job, what a wonderful job that you do, brother.
You most
Thank
certainly
you.
do.
Also, don't forget to tune in. Mitchell will not have a show this weekend because it is July the 4th weekend, but tune in to On the Spot Motorsports with Mitchell Gunner and Robert. They'll be back next Thursday with a guest. Great show. If you like motorsports of any sort, of any kind, they go over it, they talk about it, and tune into that show. Really, really good show. I watched the one last week when they was interviewing the motorcycle racer, and man, it was really good. They've got a good production just like we do, so make sure you tune in to our sister broadcast On the Spot Motorsports Media. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that's going to wrap it up. Byron, one last thing, anything that you want to say before we go? Dave, I'll give you the same as well. Go ahead.
God bless the United States of America,
Yeah.
and God bless the people that made this country possible. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Enjoy your holiday weekend brought to you by our founders and the patriots that come before.
Great, well said.
The special part of the 4th of July is it's my birthday.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We're on
Okay,
the 4th of
Shirley
July.
knows. So, is it on the 4th or is it on the 5th?
It's 7:15 a.m. the morning of the 4th. I weighed 9 pounds 12 ounces.
Did you? You were a big baby.
My mother drove herself to the hospital, and it was so crowded that they put her on a gurney and rolled her up against the wall in the hallway.
Oh boy.
And went and got a doctor. And by the time the doctor
Your mom
got
did all that.
back,
She wanted you. She said, "That's my son there. I gotta have him right now."
by the time the doctor got there, I
Yeah.
was born.
You was born. Well, happy Independence Day to our country. Happy birthday to you, Dave Holland.
Yeah.
Absolutely. May have to be another trip to Mottos. Ooh, we'll have to double. That's possible, isn't it?
It's always possible.
It's
Not on the
always
4th of
possible,
July, 'cause
but not on the 4th. You don't mind? Yeah, maybe over the weekend sometime.
Anytime.
All right. Well, we'll call you. Yeah. Okay. So we got that.
Anytime.
There you go. Well, happy early birthday to you. I know that's coming up. I just want to say thank you to our viewing audience. They are such wonderful people. We've got such wonderful people that listen to us. And if y'all know me, I don't throw this word out lightly unless I really feel this way about you. But I love you guys. I really do. There is love there. People that I work with, some of them, I tell them I love them. Each of they tell me the same thing. And you can't say enough of it. But I love you.
Me too, brother.
I love you, Dave.
Me
I love
too.
everybody that's watching this show. Seriously, and I mean that. Love Mitchell Gunner. Anybody that we're affiliated with, there is love here, and it comes from all of us. And like I said, I really appreciate you tuning in. Please do me a favor. If some of your friends don't know about us, or somebody that, please share this. Absolutely share this with as many people as you can, because the more followers that we have, The better it is for everybody. It entertains conversation. It brings up conversation because there's different people chiming in. So please share this. Tell people to go to On the Spot with David Rodgers. Hit the like button there. Once you do that, subscribe. Then when we come on, it does what, Dave? Bing!
Bing!
Bing! And that's why we have as many viewers, Byron, as we have. You got something funny there, bud? Is there something funny on there?
Nope.
Oh, I was hoping there was.
Nope.
I was somebody saying about eating.
No.
Going to try. Okay. Yes, I'm glad he said that. YouTube, the show will be up on YouTube. Austin's gotten a lot better as far as, we give him till the next day by 7 o'clock to put it on there. But now he's got some big-time equipment. He can upload that show to YouTube. So, boom, he's going to put that up there. It may be up before midnight tonight. Who the heck knows? The last one was.
Yeah.
He had the last one up before midnight. So, if you're a YouTube subscriber, go to YouTube. Check out On the Spot with David Rodgers. How many episodes, David?
Like, subscribe. And
Absolutely.
Oh, I'd say we're in the 320.
We may be in the 330s now.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know we're in the 320s. Let's see if Austin Stevens will let us know that. But we're up there for sure. Again, Dave said our birthday for this show will be in September 18th. We'll dig into that. Maybe we can come up with something big to do. Maybe we can do a live show, Dave, where we invite an audience in. Maybe we'll grill some hamburgers and hot dogs.
It's been a while since we've
Since we do, it's been a while since we've done that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, I like those type of shows. Maybe we can get somebody to do some hamburgers and hot dogs. Let's do a live little thing. 'Cause, y'all know me, and people here know me. I don't like to eat anything. I'm not a big eater or anything. Yeah, I just thought, sound like a pit bull, don't I? Sound like a
the hamburger over
the
here.
hamburger.
You better not get close to my burger.
Hey, look, I know two things that you can say at mine and Byron's eulogy, probably yours too. God rest his soul, but I know that guy, he loved food. He loved to eat and he loved food, and that is no lie. All right, guys. Oh, Lorenzo was on. Lorenzo did come on for a minute. Lorenzo spoke about us, spoke about you a little bit at the beginning of the show. Go back and check that if you're just not coming in. So, thank you, Chrissy, for accepting that. Absolutely, Shirley. You know I love you. I always have and always will. I don't know what Byron said about a cake. Hey, you could. I'll take a cake.
Byron didn't say anything about it.
Well, wait a minute. You did, didn't you?
No,
Oh, okay. So we're safe.
we're safe.
Okay, we're safe.
Played defense. They're the ones talking about.
They're the ones talking about it. Yeah. Okay.
I was talking about shotgun shrimp. Y'all
Well, wait a minute now. A cake too. How about shotgun shrimp and a cake?
You trying to make a fat boy fatter is what
Boy,
you're trying
me
to
too,
do.
man. I'm trying to get my blood sugar way out of whack too, ain't I? We'll talk about that another time. But anyway, oh, I know, man. It sounds good, don't it? It sounds good, doesn't it? Chrissy should have just read us some up here on behalf. She should have. Michael Hall, thank you for tuning in.
Good grief.
Good grief. On behalf of the Byron Bagwell,
Good night, everybody.
Mr. Dave Holland, Dave Rodgers, God bless you. Have a great Independence Day. Remember what this is all about. Go out and have fun. Be safe. Be careful. Keep yourself hydrated, whatever you're doing. And we will see you next Tuesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. God bless you guys. Peace out, B.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.